right. Welcome to Cali Cat Tap Talks. And this is my studio, and I am very happy and just excited to have Edreece here, one of the co-owners of the Oakland Roots. And so, what we're going to talk about today is diving right in behind the scenes and see what came about with the Oakland Roots. And I know from history that you have a remarkable history with your family coming from
Thank you.
Afghanistan, living in Oakland. Um, your sister played professional soccer with Italy, Germany.
hmm
Your whole family bringing clubs and introducing them, to the kids. What is your story? And thank you. I'm
Thank
honored
you.
to have you on here.
Thank you, Callie. Well, first of all, you certainly did your research. I appreciate the time and attention you're giving me and the club and this platform. My name is Edreece. I'm one of the co-founders of the club. I run marketing for the organization. I'm Oakland born, Bay Area raised. I live in downtown. You can see the backdrop there. It's a cloudy day, but still beautiful weather, and we're lucky to have it. I Gosh, I mean, the story is quite incredible, and it really dates back to my parents, who are refugees from Afghanistan, fled the Soviet invasion in the late 70s, early 80s, and ended up in the Bay Area. Bay Area created a sense of identity and refuge for them. Oakland sports experiences were some of the first sports experiences I had in my lifetime. It shaped my identity, it shaped my perception of reality. It made me think that anything was possible. And I used that swag and that flavor that these teams and the Oakland culture had given me in those early days, and used it as fuel for really the early part of my life, going to UC Davis, graduating with my college degrees, and then going through my entrepreneurial experience post college. Worked at Apple for quite some time, liaisoning between corporate and retail, and co-managing hundreds of employees within the East Bay market, where we launched product. And then I also got a sense for, the power of providing value to a customer that taps into their five senses. And I used a lot of my branding experience in my lifetime, marketing experience, to then come back to Oakland after I got my master's degree in business administration, and met my fellow co-founders, and we all asked each other, hey, you know what? Soccer is the core of our lives. It's what our families had given us as a gift to play. It's our identity, and we should start something up, and we should bring professional soccer to Oakland. And at that time, the Raiders had plans to depart. The Warriors were already planning on going to San Francisco, and the A's had not yet announced that they were going to move. So we were really devastated by the shift of those teams, and wanted to fill the gap in the void with a product that we were familiar with in soccer, the world's game, the most diverse sport in the world, the most played sport in the world. I believe that there are more people that play the sport of soccer, follow the sport of soccer, than religion combined. And that shows you a lot about the power of the game. It shows you, the impact of what it does to people. And we launched the concept in 2019. Our first game was August 31st, and we haven't looked back since. So it's been a blessing.
That's good. That's good. So, why the name Oakland Roots? What resonates
Yeah,
with this? I know it's deep with the locals. So,
yeah,
Oakland Roots.
yeah. I mean, the symbolism of the oak tree is obviously a part of our Oakland DNA. It's in our flag. We're approaching Oakland's birthday on May 4th, 1852. And the oak tree is a powerful symbolism, and you don't have strong trees without strong roots. And that concept in the early days, with our community advisory board, really led to the ideation process, which we had concepts like Funktown FC and My Thai Football Club and a bunch of other names out on the whiteboard when we were brainstorming. But when we wrote Roots, it just really felt connected and it felt real. It felt soulful. And then that conversation created our tagline of know your roots. Knowing where you come from helps you know where you're going in life. And as you know, Oakland has a tremendous culture of tapping in with our elders, understanding our history, our narratives, so that we can make decisive and proper decisions for ourselves in the future. And that concept of like history and culture and DNA and elders really spoke to me because it was an important philosophy in my life. And we built the club around that ethos. And then a few years later, when we were launching our women's team, it felt right that we named our team Oakland Soul, which in a lot of ways, roots and soul are connected. One is physical and you can see it. The other is in your heart and is in your soul, right? So it's the intangible. And SOL, soul in Spanish, means sun. And so we flipped the mosaic of the roots to make the mosaic sky and sun, and the identity really came together beautifully. And I think we got some of the strongest brands in professional sports because of it.
Yeah, it's a very strong band, and
Thank you.
the community really loves it. And with your educational background, with the marketing, and you talked about the UC Davis, so that
Mhm.
played a major play. I've also noticed that you did a collab with Line 51 Brewery,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so 'cause I'm a beer head, and
Amazing.
um, so can you explain that? I
Yeah. Yeah.
snips of that, but there's a purpose and there's a reason.
Absolutely. Well, the purpose is it just comes down to cross collaboration and cross pollination. I think some of the most successful marketing campaigns to some of the most successful businesses in the world are ones that are open to cross collaborating. Line 51 specializes in what they do. We specialize in what we do. There's other businesses locally that also have a niche understanding of their environment, their product, and their service. So we always wanted to do a collaborative beer. You can't go to a sporting game and not have a beer. It just made sense. So we reached out to Line 51, a great partner of ours. We're actually going to be dropping another collaborative can with them this year for both Roots and Soul. And, we love collaborating with people that are tapped into the culture, represent Oakland. And also it helps us reach a new demographic that we weren't necessarily tapped in with, right? The beer heads saw the can in Whole Foods or Costco or wherever, and they created the connection between the club and the thing that they were passionate about. And that's what makes cross collaboration special, is that you really start to attract and touch people that you didn't necessarily touch prior. So excited about the new drop that's coming in a few months.
So no hint of what it's going to be. Is it a hazy? Is it a triple? Is it a
But
West
yeah,
Coast?
good question. I leave the beer type to the experts.
Line
PT at Line 51 has a few ideas up his sleeve, and we'll be dropping that soon.
All right, all right. So looking ahead, what are your aspirations for
Mhm.
Oakland Roots, Oakland Soul, and Project 510 in
Yes.
terms of the impact of the local community and the broader soccer landscape?
Yeah. So, I mean, when we started this club, we didn't start it to be a small thing. I believe that when you partake in things, you should consider the idea that your actions and the things that you're building in this world can move a needle, small or big. It just has to move a needle and make society better, make the life that everyone's trying to live a better life. And so when we started this club, I really was passionate about going hard on the impact that we would have in this world. We would lead the way as it relates to purpose-oriented causes. And, when we started the organization, we doubled down on our social activism. We doubled down on our presence in the community. We started programs that most professional soccer teams and most professional teams would never even think of starting, but we did because it was important to show the community that we were authentic and intentful around our decisions and our actions. And I always say to staff, the work does the work. So with that said, we want to be one of the biggest sports clubs in the world, similar to what FC Barcelona has now done to the perception of sport globally. They have volleyball teams, they have basketball teams. It's now become synonymous with the city of Barcelona, and we want to become synonymous with the city of Oakland culturally, sports wise, etc. And that means our men's professional team performing at a high level, winning championships. It means Oakland Soul elevating to professional within the next few years, us finding a permanent home that we can build tradition and culture out of. And then ultimately, the most important is the youth and building a pipeline for our youth and talent to be able to have a pathway to professional. You know, when I was growing up, you know, the only other professional pathway was in San Jose, and that's an hour and a half away. We now have that here, and Project 510 provides a platform for top tier talent in the East Bay slash broader Bay to participate in um, high level skill building, high level training, access to professional amenities, and a pathway to professional that really didn't exist prior to the club creating. So, you know, it's an honor and a joy to see that happen. I think this year was the first time we had 5 academy contracts from Project 510 elevate to the first team. And so now you're starting to say East Bay Area born, raised kids playing for the first team. And that was kind of a trip to see happen. It was full circle, and it was kind of the vision in motion. And it's really special to see
Great.
that
That's
come to
awesome to
fruition.
hear. So the vision, does that include, or do you have some type of marketing to help kids in the high school? And it starts a little younger than that, to
Yeah.
develop them from, kindergarten to high school, to have them something to look at. Hey, I want to play for the Oakland Roots one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
what plans do you have, or are there plans already in work?
Yeah, most definitely. And it starts from the grassroots level and starts at a young age. We have a program called Roots Recognize Initiative that taps into our local schools, our local youth clubs, and works with the coaches to pull the top level talent into an identification program. That identification program then allows them to practice bi-weekly at our training facility, which is the old Oakland Raiders training facility, state of the art. These young kids have the opportunity to showcase their talent and then maybe kind of hone in on their skills and abilities, whereas, you know, maybe at their schools they weren't able to. And we then connect Roots Recognize initiative to Project 510 to then ensure that the top level talent get opportunity to develop through the pipeline and go to professional. And our technical department, coaching staff are highly connected to the local teams that are constantly having conversations, identifying new talent, and trying to find ways to support their efforts. Because I also want to state that there are plenty of coaches and plenty of programs that do things really, really well, whether it's Oakland Genesis, Oakland Soccer Club, Street Soccer USA, Soccer Without Borders. These are all Oakland soccer institutions that do impeccable work in the local community to provide, you know, non-finance, non-monetary methodologies to develop talent and develop the next generation of leaders. And we work with them as purpose partners to build that big vision. And we're only 6 years in, and you can start to see the town becoming a soccer city. So it's
Yeah,
exciting. Yeah,
and this
yeah.
this was truly your dream, right?
It really was. Yeah, it really was. And it's crazy. Like the first game in 2019, August 31st, I was turning 30, and it was the day of my birthday, and it was also the first home game in our history. And I remember feeling a tremendous sense of pride and joy when that game came to a conclusion. And you know, it was it was exciting, and I got the juice to keep the next few years, of effort and hard work going. And then when we had our home opener at the Coliseum, and I look to my left because I can kind of see it in the distance, um, the Coliseum game at the home opener was a trip because we had 26,000 people there. And we broke an American sports history record. And we just came off of a community investment raise that also broke a community investment record. And like, it just like, it was incredible to see the club that started with such humble beginnings now start to make waves in a global national way with Oakland in its name. And I remember the conclusion of the game on March 22nd felt different than the one on August 31st. I actually felt a tremendous sense of responsibility after this game at the Coliseum, and knowing that I had to now live up to this incredible new standard of building a world-class organization with Oakland in its name. It was real at that point. When you got 26,000 people in a building,
Yeah.
it becomes really real, and it's not a joke. So I don't take it lightly. I take it very, very seriously. And I know the whole organization does. We're just excited to live up to that standard. So here we go. Yeah.
That's good. So I know you got you said something about the birthday or something on May 4th. May 4th
Yeah.
is coming up, and you also have a home game
Yes.
with the Sacramento, right? So that should be a big
Correct.
deal too. So we
Yeah,
have
we have
anything
a
special planned on that day? Of
most
course, the home game.
definitely. Most definitely, yeah. May 4th is going to be our AAPI Heritage Night, which we're very, very excited about. We got Pilo, legendary Bay Area artist, performing at halftime. We got Yoyoka, an amazing drummer, local drummer who was a prodigy at a young age, performing. We have dance performances lined up. We have artists displaying their work in our gallery within the stadium. And it's also a rivalry match against Sacramento Republic. That's always a very heated rivalry. We go back and forth. We're trending to have several thousands of people in the building. It's going to be a blast, and we get to do it while celebrating Oakland's birthday, which is an incredible evening. So, would love to invite you, your family, and all your listeners to come to the game. It'll be a blast.
We'll definitely be there. I'll be flying in
Amazing,
from Palm Springs.
amazing,
Definitely
amazing.
will be there.
Good.
Um, Last thing um, to tell the fans is, how do you keep your dream alive?
Mm.
And there's some challenges, and to let them know, don't give up. You got to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
try. So,
Yeah.
what would your advice be? Because you're like the legend in Oakland.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, look, there's a lot of cliche messages, don't give up, never give up on your dreams, etc. Um, and the reason why they stick around for generations and thousands of years, these phrases, is because they're actually really true. Like, if they weren't true, people wouldn't carry that narrative through time. And so, what I will say is, success is a non-linear path. People think that, once you put an idea into motion, it's a win, but it's actually the sustaining of that motion that creates the long-term win that you're looking for. Um, I think an incredible place for people that are going through starting a business or trying to put something out in the world is to actually put it out into the world. It's not real until people see it. I'm a big advocate for that, getting your ideas out into the world in a way that allows for people to interact with it, allows for people to create their own perception of that product or service. But then the iteration of that and the maintenance of that over time is where true success happens. And it's a non-linear path. It's very difficult. It's challenging. It's not for the faint of heart. You're going to go through a lot of struggle. But the thing that's really got me through the past several years is shifting my mindset to not get to a task or an outcome, to get through the task or the outcome. There's kind of a shift in mentality and framing if you really digest it in a powerful way. Getting to something is different than getting through it. And for me, that's been very, very helpful in my journey is to think about, this home opener as an example was a massive one. The club worked so hard to get to that becoming a reality with Too Short and the fireworks and all the incredible things we had going on that game. If I had the mentality to just get to that game, I wouldn't have been able to have the mentality during the game and post the game to then continue humbly and continue to work hard, right? I think people get too caught up in accomplishing a thing, but not actually absorbing and appreciating the journey that gets you through that thing, if that makes sense. It's a difficult concept, but like once you're going through a tremendous accomplishment, you'll realize that like the accomplishment or getting to the finish line is actually not the thing that makes it what it is. It was the journey that brought you there, as well as what you do after that, that establishes the reality of that moment. And I told the staff the next day, we did this with 26,000, we broke a record. However, it's about sustaining that, maintaining that now. Can you do it again and again and again and again? And if you're able to do that over a longer period of time, people will people will start to respect you in a different way. So I hope that helps. I know it's an abstract concept, but through it, not to it. And that will really help you also get through the most difficult moments too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I was at UPS for 33 and a half years.
Wow.
I had to
That's
go
amazing.
through that
Through
process,
the whole thing. Yeah.
look
And you
through it,
stuck through
work
it.
through it, stay through it, and reap the benefits at the end.
There we go. Yeah, there you go. And enjoy the moments, enjoy the wins. And I actually believe in that very much is accumulating wins along the way. Try to get as many of them as possible. When you stack your doves and you stack your bricks and all of that turns into an incredible, incredible feat. As Marshawn says, stack your chicken, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever it is that he says. So like it's collecting your doves along the way, and then all of a sudden you start to build a big, beautiful um, thing that people can appreciate and enjoy with you. So, yeah,
I appreciate you very much for hopping on the show.
likewise.
So hopefully I'll see you again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I